Darwin Platform Group of Companies is one of the fastest growing diversified Indian conglomerates with global footprints. It is setting up offices globally and tying up with companies across the globe for multiple sectors. The company has ventured into real estate and construction, stockbroking and finance, arms and ammunition, mining, airlines and many other sectors.
Hello and welcome. You're watching Business Today Television. This is Market Today. I'm Sakshi Batra and with me is Shail Bhatnagar. Well, the law of averages is now appearing to finally catch up with the gravity-defying rally that we've been witnessing in the market so far. Yesterday's market correction in the broader markets led to an erosion of 8 lakh crore rupees of investors' wealth. So what's next for the markets now? Will they bounce back or will they continue to see some more correction? We will tell you all, but first up the top headlines we're tracking for you this hour. Indian stocks are likely to remain in a flat to weak range on Wednesday after encountering their first serious bout of profit booking in months. Investors are advised to let the market settle before making purchases. More losses seen on the Nifty. Cash stocks are also exhibiting strong pullbacks after sustained rallies. Traders are likely to make more money on the short side. Extreme caution is advised on frontline high beta counters. Fresh purchases should be avoided. Very good morning to all our viewers joining us here on Market Today, and good morning to you, Shail, as well. Well, just like how I pointed out, we've actually seen the high of 22,124 that was made on January 16. From that time till now, we've seen that the Nifty is already down about 900 points. And also when we talk about yesterday, it's 2.3% down as of yesterday for the month of January when we talk about the Nifty's fall, putting it on course for the 5th straight year in which it has delivered negative returns in the first month of the year, Shail.
Yes, Sakshi. A very good morning to you and a very warm welcome to thousands of viewers who are actually braving the cold in Delhi today and joining us despite this very wintry chill that you are also seeing on Dalal Street. So Sakshi, if you remember about a week, 10 days ago, we had mentioned that bahut ho gayi party and you must book a large chunk of your profit, if not exit your trading positions. Remember, the bull market is in place. This is an intra-week, intra-month correction that's happening, and obviously things are going to sort of improve, but for the moment I think there is some pain left in the market. It's 21,238 as far as the Nifty is concerned, right in front of you. The index closed at its lowest level as far as yesterday's trade is concerned, and we are sitting on T-1. This is the penultimate day before the monthly expiry of the last Thursday of January, and as Sakshi has said, 2.27% lower as far as the monthly tally is concerned for the Nifty. It's much more painful on the Bank Nifty to the extent of about 8-9% is what we are looking at in terms of the monthly loss on the Bank Nifty, to the extent of about 7% year to date, and if you look at the expiry to expiry, it's to the extent of about 8%. Now Sakshi, let's look at the internals of yesterday's market and where we are headed. For the 5th straight day, foreign funds have sold, and in the past 5 sessions the total sell is to the extent of 30,000 crores. I'll also request the PCR to show the chart of HDFC Bank, and you will see, Sakshi, where the maximum selling has happened. The chart of HDFC Bank in front of you is there. Massive selling happening. This is the lowest since October of 2022, Sakshi. So we are in the vicinity of let's say an 18-month low on HDFC Bank, and would you believe it, in the last 5 trading sessions the deliveries alone on HDFC Bank have totaled 25,000 crores. Because this is the heaviest weighted stock in the index, and it is the heaviest weighted stock in Bank Nifty. That is why you see so much of pain coming. Let's get back to the Nifty chart, Sakshi. You will notice that yesterday's single day decline took out 3 days of gains on the Nifty, and the index is now below 20 DMA. About 4 or 5 days ago, I had mentioned that it had slipped below the daily DMA of 10 moving days, and at that point of time, the trend had reversed from bullish to flat. Now below 20 and towards 50, you see the trend accelerating towards bearishness as far as the index is concerned. And actually, most interestingly, I was looking at a lot of FNO data. There are no long build-ups worthwhile on the Nifty except on pharma stocks. Therefore, you can understand that all the profit booking that's happening in HDFC is moving towards pharma, the defensive bet. Therefore, Cipla is at a record high, Sun Pharma is at a record high, Apollo Hospitals is at a record high as far as the Nifty is concerned, and our old favorite sector, the auto space. Therefore, Bajaj Auto, and therefore Hero Motors. Now the problem, Sakshi, is that none of these 5-7 stocks are index heavyweights. Therefore, their record highs do not matter. Now let's come back to the Nifty chart. You'll see that on the weekly Nifty chart, Sakshi, the index is below the 9-week exponential moving average, and we are seeing sustained selling now impacting the move. So my understanding is that let's just wait for this index to settle. When you look at there is a very strong support at 21,000. Now 21,000 is just 200 points away, but that seems to be what the index has in mind as far as the Nifty is concerned. That is also the vicinity of 50 DMA. Let's see whether the support builds up or not. And today is an earnings heavy day both for the Nifty as well as the FNO space. 3 Nifty counters, Balkrishna Industries, Bajaj Auto, Tisco and Tech Mahindra will announce their third quarter numbers, and of course 10 FNO stocks including Birlasoft, Balkrishna Industries and Canara Bank will be reporting their quarterlies, and the market will be reacting to Axis Bank. Sakshi.
Absolutely, a slew of earnings to be definitely kept on watch, and of course the markets will be reacting to all of these numbers that have already come out with the earnings over the after the market hours yesterday as well. We'll talk about the banking index now. As far as the Bank Nifty is concerned, Shail, it's down over 3,500 points from its recent record high of 48,636.
Yes.
And like you pointed out, the focal point remains the underperformance of HDFC Bank. The stock has shed about 2 lakh crore rupees in market cap from 12.97 lakh crore rupees peak that was made on December 29th of 2023. Where is the bank really headed? Why are investors reluctant to buy the pain and buy the dip on HDFC?
Let's treat HDFC in a little while, and we'll look at that separately, Sakshi. But rightly said, 3,500 points correction from the top of 48,600 on the Bank Nifty. The chart is right in front of you, ladies and gentlemen, and you can see yesterday's very large bar that has more or less taken away the last 4 days move. Sakshi, these are very bearish bars, and you will notice that the Bank Nifty is its lowest since December 1st. Now that's a painful point to talk about, and it's not very far away from its 200 DMA. Because the 200 DMA is fairly close, it's a given that it will be tested at this range. And Nifty, Bank Nifty, as you very rightly said, is down 3,500 points. Surprise, 2,500 points have come from the fall in HDFC Bank. And HDFC Bank has a 33% weightage in Bank Nifty. So on its way up, HDFC Bank really helps the index, jump by leaps and bounds. And on its way down, of course, it's like jumping many stories in a very tall building. And that's what's happening on Bank Nifty. I would imagine 44,500, Sakshi. That will be a very strong support, and as far as the Bank Nifty option chain is concerned. But signs of weakness both in the options chain of the Nifty and the Bank Nifty. We are on T-1, the penultimate day of the monthly FNO expiry, and these are not areas to sort of buy or press shorts. But if you are a trader in the cash segment, Sakshi, then some profit needs to be taken away desperately. You have to protect your profit, and more importantly, you have to ensure that your capital is not lost, Sakshi.
Absolutely. Anything in the FNO space, Shell, that you're watching out for today?
Sakshi, I would imagine that you will be giving the breakdown of the earnings of Axis Bank, United Spirits, and Pidilite. The numbers are pretty good, but the fact remains that none of the indices, especially the banking index, is reacting to decent quarterly numbers. Axis Bank is something that I'm looking at. The numbers were good. Details will be given by Sakshi. But the fact is that even after HDFC Bank's numbers, even after ICICI Bank's sterling performance, there has been little or no positive impact on Bank Nifty. I am sure you will see some kind of a gap up on Axis Bank, and then of course the selling pressure will take over. Sakshi, yesterday, if you noticed, the Nifty had opened gap up when both of us were discussing that. The selling pressure actually started from HDFC Bank, and it sort of cleaned up a lot of bullish sentiment on the large street.
Absolutely. Let's look at what the global cues are shaping up like. The US stocks ended mixed in yesterday's trading or overnight trading session as the corporate earnings results weighed on some companies and sent others surging. The Dow Jones fell about 0.3% in trade, snapping a 3-day winning streak that pushed it to record highs on January 22nd. S&P 500, however, climbed again to record high levels as investors digested a mixed bag of early quarterly results as well. We did see Nasdaq also gaining about 0.4% in trade. The Asian markets mostly fell as investors monitor economic data out of Japan as well as factory activity data from Australia. Japan's Nikkei slid about 0.26% in trade, extending the losses from Tuesday, while topics also a smaller set of losses coming in as well. As far as the trends in the GIFT Nifty are indicating, a slight positive start for the broader index with a gain of about 80 odd points in trade today. As far as the FII flows are concerned, of course, they've been net sellers for the 5 days in a row, selling worth about 3,115 odd crore rupees of shares in the Indian markets. The domestic institutional investors, however, just bought about 214 odd crore rupees worth of stocks in yesterday's trading action. As far as the stocks are concerned, we have Axis Bank that will be on top of our radar. The private sector lender reported a 3.7% year-on-year rise in net profits at 6,071 crores for the third quarter. The net interest income grew 9.4% at 12,532 crores. We've also seen Pidilite Industries report its numbers. The company posted 66% jump in the consolidated net profit at 510 crores in the December quarter. The revenues from operations grew about 4.4% to 3,130 crore rupees in this quarter as well. As far as Indus Towers are concerned, the telecom infra major reported a consolidated net profit of 1540 odd crore rupees for the third quarter. The revenues also here increased by 6.4% to 7199 crore rupees as well. United Spirits, the Diageo controlled liquor maker, reported a 63.5% year-on-year jump in the net profits to 350 odd crore rupees for the third quarter, and the revenues also increased by 8% or to over 3,000 crore rupees as well in this quarter as well. So these are some of the numbers that I'll be watching out for. Let's look at our guest of the day. I think Vineet Polinchkar is with us. He's the head of research at Ventura Securities. Welcome, Vineet, and good to have you with us on Business Today Television. Well, first serious bout of profit booking in yesterday's trading action that has taken place. How would you really look at yesterday's trade and tell us, what do you feel about the markets now? Are the bears going to be, on top of the game now?
So I think there can be a temporary bounce from current levels because we saw some very, very big selling happen yesterday. And it was probably on the back of the accident that Z News had incurred. Z Telefilms. But I expect that the new news coming in of AMG wanting to take over, which is a Adani kind of a associate, could help arrest the fallout there. And it's quite undervalued currently. So there could be a temporary bounce there. And with that, we could expect the market to bounce back. But the longer term, we have to understand that China is also pump priming, and there's a lot of interest in China. And both India and China participating together for the flows, I think that would be a tall task. And I expect some kind of a movement of funds, rotation of funds out of India into China. And this could possibly lead to further weakening if there are any more accidents that take place.
Okay. A very warm good morning to you, Vineet. We had met about 10 days ago in Mumbai, and I have fond memories of that wonderful discussion. Now it's time for stock pickers like you to sort of, throw off your cloak of, how should I say, penance and start deploying money in the markets. The Nifty is down a good 1,000 points. The Bank Nifty, of course, has been very gracious, 3,500 points lower from its record high. Tell us what is looking good on your radar when it comes to buying at these lower levels, if at all, and what are the stocks in the mid cap space which you are waiting for more juicier valuations to come in and then probably deploy money?
So I think that Diageo came out with very stellar numbers. They had guided for very conservative performance, but their performance was actually out of the park. And I expect Diageo to perform very well going ahead. It is one of my top picks in the FMCG space now, and we expect this stock to perform very strongly. Other than this, we like Axis Bank. Numbers have been good, and we always considered it dark horse with a 2-year type of time frame, and that story is now playing out similarly to what ICICI Bank did. And apart from this, if you look at the mid cap space, I think the renewables and the railway stocks are something that we are watching out for juicier valuations. So we expect a slightly deeper correction in the railway stocks, and we would be looking to buy into them along with the renewable energy as well as the PSU banks and the oil and gas stocks.
Okay.
Okay, let's dig a little deeper in the renewable space. Sakshi, just a moment, please. Just 2 days ago, the Prime Minister announced from Ayodhya that he's very keen that 1 crore homes see some kind of a solar rooftop on them to decrease their monthly electrical bills. What would be the top picks in the renewable space where you are looking at probably prices to head lower? Just names if you can share.
So Tata Power is a very good play on this rooftop solar story. And that would be my single pick which I would go for, because purely it's a direct play on this space that Prime Minister had made the announcement. So that would be my top stock pick. Apart from that, we'd be looking at Suzlon if it were to correct around 35 levels. And Inox Wind also another 10-15% down. If we get those kind of valuations, then definitely that is what we'd be looking for.
Okay. So 3 stock ideas when it comes to the renewable energy space, especially the solar power makers. Tata Power is your top pick. Suzlon and Inox Wind you'd be looking to buy when they correct a little more. You also said that the railways pack, which have again shown the first signs of deep profit booking after a stunning rally, you'd be interested in buying this space. Which are the top stocks that you'll be looking at if they were to correct more?
So Kernex, HBL Power, and Ircon to start off with, but would be looking to get a little more, get them a little more cheaper than where they stand currently.
Okay, but what about the likes of IRFC and RVNL that have rallied and rallied so sharply, almost creating a FOMO among a lot of investors with the stunning move that they have shown. Is it done and dusted for now for these companies?
See, parabolic moves are always difficult to play. And when the parabolic exhaustion happens, they can correct as fast as they rose. So, we would like to be a little careful on these stocks. Our fair valuation, as per me, was around 80, 85 bucks on IRFC. And today the stock is twice that price. So valuation comfort is not for the asking. RVNL also, I think the stock has rallied too far too fast, and we'll be looking at some reasonable corrections to take place before venturing into them.
Okay.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, if you remember, till about last 5 sessions, both Sakshi and I have been very, very hesitant to mark IRFC, RVNL, as also IRCON, etc. On the charts. We've just showed you the prices and repeatedly said that these are overstretched on technical charts. If you don't have them, don't get into them. But if you hold them, please continue. But those were words of caution. I hope at least some of you followed. Vineet, let's get back to the main line. And the pain point is visible for everybody. HDFC Bank, lowest since October 22. Very, very heavy foreign institutional selling. And it's more or less broken the back of bullish sentiment on the Lal Street. Is there a level where you feel comfortable with HDFC Bank you could add to your long-term portfolio via monthly SIP or maybe a bulk purchase? Your views on HDFC Bank?
So, the bank is already at a very fair value where one can start sipping into it. 1420 is very, very reasonable valuations. Anything under 1500 was looking cheap. But we would wait for the correction to get done with, see a slight uptick out here or consolidation of price before trying to catch the falling knife. Ideally, the bank should not fall much more from here. But we are in the midst of a correction which may have only started overall for the market, and hence I would be a little bit cautious out here. I've already pointed out one reason for the caution in the market, that the FPIs have to let know the last owner of the ultimate beneficiary of the shares that are purchased. So there is a kind of a threat that there will be further selling coming through. And HDFC Bank has always been the top pick of many of the funds. So we think that this could possibly be still some more time before getting into it.
But at 1427, Sakshi, this looks juicy. We've been advocating buying the dip in Infosys for a while, on TCS on a while. And HDFC Bank, no matter what the pain point is there as far as the price is concerned, remember, a good price and a good stock don't come together. Therefore, the pain needs to be added, even if it has to be added intelligently over time. These are juicier valuations on HDFC Bank as Vineet concurs, and one should take an opportunity when it's presented with both hands. Sakshi.
All right. Vineet, I also wanted to understand from you your take on Z. That was another big pain point for the markets yesterday. The way it slipped about 32%, breaking several lower circuits as well during the day. Much of it was also anticipated because the news is that big. And perhaps the merger with Sony News was holding up the stock for the last 2 years odd in a particular range. And we still saw the stock fall about 12-13% in the last 2 years. What do you have to say after this news flow has come about? How big a pain point could Z continue to face even going forward from here? And what are the options now?
So as I said, there were rumors of AMG, which is a close associate of the Adanis, wanting to buy a 26% stake in the company. If that news were to be true, then we would find levels, the market seeking a level around these, finding a support around these levels, because in my opinion, at 155, the stock is quite cheap. But on the other hand, there are these lot of issues of corporate governance where, there has been rumors of, additional funds being swindled out of the company than what was earlier thought to be about 200 crores. So there can come a corporate governance issue where, even the savviest of investors sizing an opportunity would want to enter the stock. They would be restrained if there was so many corporate governance issues there. So this is a tricky play, and in a market which is melting, I would let it go.
You'll let it go. Okay, what we'll do is that we'll take a very short break right here. When we return, we'll open up with the pre-open trades.
Darwin Platform Group of Companies is one of the fastest growing diversified Indian conglomerates with global footprints. It is setting up offices globally and tying up with companies across the globe from multiple sectors. The company has ventured into real estate and construction, stockbroking and finance, arms and ammunition, mining, airlines, and many other sectors.
In today's rapidly evolving business environment, when risk is omnipresent, managing risks is no longer just about ticking a few boxes. Businesses need to maintain a panoramic view of risks to stay ahead of the curve. Join us to explore how organizations can rethink risk to unlock new possibilities and become fit for future. At PwC presents De-Risking the Future in collaboration with Business Today. Celebrate 32 years of leadership in business news with Business Today. From the groundbreaking AI cover of Sundar Pichai to PM Modi's exclusive on G20, we redefine headlines. Now our 32nd anniversary issue explores India 2029, the 5-year agenda, with industry titans sharing exclusive insights. So, just BT it for unparalleled perspectives. Business Today. 32 years of leadership, innovation, and business brilliance. Subscribe now.
A warm welcome to you. Let's look at how markets are reacting in a pre-open trade. It's a sort of a flat opening, 21 points lower as far as markets are concerned on the Nifty, and that's fairly acceptable because yesterday was a 333 point cut on the Nifty and a 1000 point cut on the Bank Nifty. Let's look at what the index heavyweights are telling us when it comes to the opening. I'd like to start with the HDFC Bank. Okay, we'll let this settle. I don't think so. This is the price that you're going to see on HDFC Bank. Let's look at Axis Bank. Wow, again 3.6% lower, 1050. I think these prices will settle. Let's look at some good news. Okay, Infosys is trying to open 3.5% higher, 1700. TCS is trying to open 1.5% higher, 3918. I'm not sure this will happen either. So there are a lot of pain points as far as initial prices are concerned. Let's immediately look at FNO. I'd like to see what is the number on Z. Remember, it had crashed 33% yesterday. Let's look at the top loser, Axis Bank. Okay, there is a pain point happening as far as Axis Bank is concerned. Okay, Z is trying to open 2.5% lower, 153. That's fairly okay. This is how the markets are. We'll let these trades settle, ladies and gentlemen. There's no point showing you prices that are extremely volatile. It sort of vitiates the mind. 53 lower on the Nifty, 21 188. There is pain on HDFC Bank and there is pain on Axis Bank. Let's leave it at that. Reliance is trying to open up in the green, 2670, up about 13 rupees. Let's just focus on Vineet's thoughts. Vineet, coming back to you, your view on the pharma space. Record highs left, right and center, at least in frontline stocks such as Cipla, Sun Pharma and Apollo Hospitals within the Nifty. How are you watching this space, and is there anything of interest in the mid-cap space that catches your attention?
So I think that the moves are primarily defensive in nature, where profit taking is happening in the momentum stocks and, uh, getting deployed into the defensive space. So we expect Sun Pharma and Cipla to do well. And I expect that along with this, the FMCG and alcohol stocks should also continue to do well. Pidilite is one counter which appeals to with its good numbers that came. So these are some of the hiding spaces that the market will find in a market which is, having no bottom at this point in time.
Okay. Right. Okay, Vineet, let's also focus on the auto space as well. A slew of brokerage houses reports coming in on Hero MotoCorp, JP Morgan, CLSA, Jefferies, UBS. They all have an outperform rating with, prices ranging up to even 53, 55 on the stock as well. How would you really look at Hero MotoCorp? And of course, Bajaj Auto's earnings are expected today. And there's an expectation perhaps of a revenue of 11,896 crores and an EBITDA which is seen at 2356 with a margin also seen expanding to 19.8%. How would you look at the two-wheeler stocks, particularly Hero Motor versus Bajaj Auto now?
So definitely Hero Motor has, come out with stellar numbers. And, they have also got a very good EV portfolio which complements their ICE vehicles. And they've been gaining market share in the EV space. They are now at around 20% odd, along with TVS and with Bajaj Auto. So I think definitely Hero MotoCorp presents a very exciting opportunity to participate. And along with this, I think Bajaj Auto will also do well. Their 19% margins, if they're able to deliver, are very, very stable and typical margins of Bajaj Auto. And however, the stock has run up too far too fast. And so we expect action to happen more in Hero Honda, outperformance in Hero Honda rather than Bajaj.
Okay. All right. So outperformance in
That's a
Hero
fair
Motor.
point to make.
Yeah.
Yes, actually. Essentially, see, the point was that Bajaj Auto has run up very sharply, and despite very tepid numbers from Hero Motors when it comes to December volume sales, the stock is at a record high. So it's the comparative trade within the works. I'll mention something when it comes to how both stocks have performed over a one-year basis. Give me some time to collect that data for you. And meantime, let's get our view in from Vineet on FMCG. Very sharp underperformance coming in from Hindustan Unilever. Vineet, any view that you have there, and anything that catches your fancy as far as lever is concerned? Of course, earnings were disappointing.
Yeah, so they're struggling to find their mojo in this market, which is really, really crowded with a lot of brands. And given that kind of sectoral scenario, I think there are certain companies which appeal to us. Honasa or Mama Earth is one of the stocks that we like, and more to do with the alcohol space, along with the food business, is what we would like to be into more than the staple FMCG counters.
Okay. Vineet, since we were talking about the auto space and you talked to us clearly about the two-wheeler action, on the auto ancillary space, where are you keeping your focus? We've seen very strong moves come in on stocks like Samvardhan Motherson, Sona BLW, for example. All of Uno Minda. The stocks have been on top of the radar for a lot of analysts over the last 2 months odd or so. How would you look at these auto ancillary stocks now that we are looking at some profits being taken off the table? And do you still see some value in any of the stocks from this basket?
So we have coverage on Minda and Minda Industries. We like steel strips. Uh, And so these are some of the counters that we like. And Motherson Sumi is another counter which is doing well. It had 15 acquisitions last year, and it has consolidated them very well. And they've also started turning around. And what is more important about Motherson Sumi is that their clients ask them to take over companies because they're very comfortable with their way of managing these uh, turnaround candidates. So I think Motherson Sumi Samvadan should do very well. Uh, but there is a lot of selling, and they could be subdued. But these are definitely counters that we would like to hold on. We think that there is a lot of steam remaining in these counters, and we would like to hold on to them.
Hmm. Okay.
So 909, ladies and gentlemen, let's again revisit what the market pre-open tells us. The Nifty settled sensibly, uh, 53 points lower, 21,185. Sakshi, the bank Nifty is in major pain, 525 points lower and 44,500. That's just what I had mentioned on the options chart is right there in front of you. Let's hope that you see some bounce back from these levels. Now let's focus on where the pain point is. Sadly for us, HDFC Bank is opening 3.5% lower. This is terrible, terrible. 1380 for you. Axis Bank is opening 5% lower. Now this is a travesty of justice. Very, very strong numbers coming in, but the market's reacting adversely. 1034 for you. Kotak is flat, 1789. I want to see what ICICI Bank is doing. Flat, 1029. How about SBI? Marginally up a percent, 609.95. It's Infosys and TCS which are likely to sort of look at somehow supporting the Nifty on the long side. 1% higher on Infosys, 0.5% on TCS. I want to see the top loser on the FNO space. Well, no surprise there, HDFC Bank and ICICI Bank. Profit booking happening in Shriram Finance. I'd also like to see what Z is doing. That will somehow give you an idea on what the market is thinking. Strong numbers coming in from Pidilite, Sakshi. This is something that Vineet has appreciated. The stock is opening 4% higher in pre-open, 2630. This is how, Sakshi, the pre-open is. Over to you.
Right. One more stock that I'll be watching out for is JK Cement. Remember, excellent set of numbers. Cement space is something that I've time and again pointed out and asked experts' views as well. Here we have seen, that the profit zoom multifold. It beat estimates as well. JK Cement is opening about 2.5% higher in the pre-opening trade again. And we also have a slew of brokerage houses reports that have given a positive rating on JK Cement. Vineet, your view on JK Cement?
Yes, a very good set of numbers, and we have been advocating buying cement stocks. Our favorite pick is Ambuja Cements because of the capacities which are coming on stream in the next 12 to 18 months. And we continue to be positive on this space, given the fact that this government has got a very very strong uh, thrust on infrastructure spends, and we believe that if the Modi government were to come back, which is a very likely scenario, we will see very very high spend on road networks.
Okay. Let's also welcome Akshay Bhagwat, now Senior Vice President Derivatives Research from JM Financial, who is now joining in. Very good morning to you, Akshay. Good to have you with us. It looks like it's going to be another massive blowout in trade today. We're looking at the Bank Nifty, numbers already giving us some kind of pain point. Your own sense and top picks that you'd be going with today.
Good morning, Sakshi. Well, yes, there is blood on the street and still more to go looking by the broader setup of the markets. Now, pharma space has somewhere been a defensive bet and stood out in the last couple of days. So here, if one wants to take a long bet, it will be the pharma space. And here, a couple of stocks which I have on my buy watch list in pharma space. One will be Lupin Limited, which is trading around 1447 as it closed yesterday. A strong technical setup. Pharma is the space, the defensive space to be in. I'm looking around targets of 1500. Support area is around 1415, So Lupin would be the first bet. And obviously Cipla, which has seen a strong breakout, a significant uptick in yesterday's trade, 7 odd percent up on a gap. So slight dip around 1380 odd levels makes it an attractive buy for a target of around 1450. So Cipla and Lupin are the two top bets from the pharma space, which I would recommend.
A very warm welcome to you, Akshay, and good morning. Markets are a little edgy. Your very quick view on HDFC Bank now opening 3.5% lower, 1380. What is a good buy zone for this stock?
Good morning, Shailji. For if I were to look at where HDFC Bank is exactly heading for, then the supports of 1300 comes into play right now, because yesterday we broke through a major support zone, which was the recent swing low at 1458. So yes, maybe on intraday it just kind of holds on, because there are minor supports around 1380, 1375. But positionally as an investor, or even if you were to time it on a technical side where you can buy and hold it for some time for some significant reversal point, then as it reads right now, 1280, 1280 to 1300 is the value area which I see where HDFC Bank might see some bit of a respite going ahead.
Okay.
Okay. This, ladies and gentlemen, is... yes, Sakshi, please continue.
So absolutely, we are going to keep an eye out on HDFC Bank another day when we will be seeing some kind of pain developing. What about Z Entertainment, Akshay? Tell us, here, what do you see in trade today?
Well, I mean, if you look at the broader chart structure, it has actually broken a key support zone of 175. So that's a negative development as far as the broader chart setup go in Z. It's in ban in the futures and options space, and
Yeah.
the selling is expected to aggravate, and possibly 125 is the support zone where you can see some bit of a stability in the stock. So a negative outlook on Z for trading, 125 is the downside I see from
Right.
a trade.
Okay, Sakshi, let's just look at pre-open trades. There is a sensible number on the Nifty, 13 points lower, 21,221. Let's hope this improves. There is also a sensible number on Nifty Bank, 133 down, 44,890. It's not as bad as it was in the pre-open. And ladies and gentlemen, the Nifty IT index is in the green, thankfully, 200 points higher, 36,750. Onwards to index heavyweights, I just want to see what HDFC Bank is doing. It's down just 9 rupees, 1417. Axis Bank is in pain, ladies and gentlemen. 45 points rupees lower, 4% down, 1047. Remember, the earnings were fantastic, but the market is in no mood to reward banks. Okay, Infosys 1% higher, TCS 0.5% higher. Let's look at FNO very, very quickly, and I also want to see what Z is doing, because that is the trend decider for all what was doing badly yesterday. Okay, there is some kind of short covering happening, 3.5% higher, 160-155 on Z. Now let's look at the earnings, boys. Pidilite, 3.5% higher, 2610. Remember, Vineet has made it as one of his strong contenders. Okay, JK Cement, 3% higher, 4082. These are buzzing as far as the FNO stocks are concerned. A lot of action in IT stocks. Let's take a look at them very quickly. No stopping, Persistent, 8442, 2% higher. HCL Tech, Infosys, L&T Mindtree about 1% higher each. Coforge 0.8% higher. Tech Mahindra, earnings boy today, 1377, 0.8% higher. Very quickly, we'll go to the PSU theme. Remember, they were beaten black and blue yesterday when it comes to profit booking. There is no let up in IRFC. Again, a strong bout of profit booking happening. 4% lower, 4% cut on IRCON, 5% cut on RVNL, 274. A 3.5% cut on MSTC, 3% cut on Mazgaon, 3% cut on Cochin Shipyard. The selling, ladies and gentlemen, seems to be accelerating now, 60 points lower on the Nifty, 21,187. Akshay, coming to you, anything that catches your fancy?
See, It's a negative day to start with, but I believe as far as day trading goes, there might be some bit of stability. This is only for day trading. So I believe Nifty might kind of stabilize once it nears the 21, 100 odd zone. So maybe 30, 40 points more, and then it kind of reverses for day trading. But again, if you were to bet here, I would still be more comfortable on the defensive space, pharma names, and even IT names as the day has started off. Some bit of minor respite can be seen in Infosys or TCS or Mphasis. You name most of the IT's counters. I believe there might be some respite buying in the IT space today.
Okay. Akshay, the metals pack, what do you see here? I can see a number of metal stocks really trading higher. Hindalco as the top mover on the Nifty, 3% up in trade. Steel Authority buzzing in the FNO space as well. JSW Energy, of course, and a lot of news flows coming in. Nalco, NMDC, they're all moving up. Hindustan Copper as well, about 2% higher in the FNO action. How would you look at these particular names from the metals pack, Akshay?
Uh, Metals, it's just kind of holding on to its opening gains. So I do not foresee any major reversal signs as yet. It is just
Okay.
intraday stability which metals pack is trying to regain. But here only Hindalco, which has seen a positive opening today, is one of the best bets in case you were to look from an intraday perspective. Slight recovery can see an uptick till 565 on the upside. So not major upside. Risk reward also is not great, not that great. But Hindalco is the only stock which stands out in the metal space, which might see some day trading upside as we proceed.
Okay. It's only IT and metals
Sakshi,
that are
let's
holding
pay
up,
attention
Shell.
to the broader market.
3.4% higher in trade as far as the sectors are concerned. But broader markets, I can see EID Perry, Shell, 5% higher in trade. That's the one that's moving. Let me just check if all the sugar stocks are also moving higher. Shell, yours.
Yes, Sakshi. So Pidilite, let's take it away when it comes to this particular counter. Now it's accelerating 5% higher, 26.59. Remember, I'm just marking this stock. There is very, very difficulty in taking a long call at this kind of a market when markets seem to be undergoing a stiff bout of correction. Now the Nifty is down 31 points. The Bank Nifty 2.5% lower. 300 points on the Bank Nifty. Now let's look at what the indices are doing. We track 19 for you. Just 3 of them are in the green: Nifty Media, Nifty IT, and Nifty Metal. Hindalco we've marked in the metal space. What is down really? Realty 1.6% lower on the index. I want to see what the mid cap index is doing. Flat, 0.2% lower at 46,470 on the Nifty Mid Cap 100 index. Not bad. Advanced decline is equally 1:1. But remember, this is the early part of trade. Normally, selling accelerates as we process into the day. What is the advanced decline ratio on the Nifty 500? Again, 1:1. Nothing to be worried about. I think, Sakshi, it's the pharma space that's taking it away. And okay, ladies and gentlemen, yes, Sanofi International, very low volume, let's avoid that. Natco Pharma 1.7% higher, 855. Gland Pharma 1.2% higher, 1905. Dr. Reddy's 1.2% higher, 5733. And I think Lupin is what Akshay had picked, 1451 for you, ladies and gentlemen, 1% higher. There is also an increase in sales as far as Lupin is concerned. Sakshi is coughing. She's taking a cough syrup from Lupin. Anything that catches your fancy, Akshay, in the pharma space apart from Lupin?
From Lupin here, if you look at Aurobindo Pharma, it is trying to see some bit of day trading recovery. Although yesterday was a bit subdued day, but broader chart structure again is positive here. 1135 is where the stock trades, and the trend is pretty strong. I believe this can be another possible candidate where you can consider buying Aurobindo Pharma at 1137. Good chance that it might head for a new high. 1200 is where I look forward to. 1115 is the support zone, and a positive outlook which I hold in Aurobindo Pharma.
Okay. Vineet, your take from the pharma space, I clearly believe you were one of those early pickers of Dr. Reddy's when the momentum was just starting off. How would you really look at Dr. Reddy's now? And of course, all the other stocks that are moving up in trade?
So, Dr. Reddy has been at these levels for a very long period of time, and this was our target then. So, as of this levels, it's just a hold or book profits here and move to Cipla. I think Cipla can be a good stock to get into at current levels.
Okay. Okay, Cipla can be a good stock to get into right now. Some of the sectors are picking up pace now from the lower levels. You can see oil and gas, that's bounced back 0.5% higher in trade. Broader markets, the small caps and the mid caps have also seen some picks coming in. So 0.3% of an uptick for those. FMCG stocks also just flattish with a positive bias right now. So these are the other sectors that are gaining some traction at this point in time. Metals, IT remain the flavor along with the media index at this point in time, and some buying action that's happening in the pharma space, like we have constantly pointed out. REC, that's the stock that I spot on the FNO space. Akshay, could you give us your view on REC? There's been a pretty much a volatile move over the last few trading sessions on REC.
Well, the power sector definitely has been a momentum sector since the last couple of months, and every dips, as I understand, is has been bought into looking at the price charts. Here, REC again, the chart structure is very strong. Leaving aside the day where you had some strong volatility, this sector is again bouncing back. I believe this sector 500 plus are the targets you can look from a medium term perspective. From trading, 475 is the likely target for a short term. Support area is around 435. So you can consider buying REC. It should see a recovery for 475 plus targets in the short term.
Okay, Sakshi. Much as we try to dissuade traders from staying away from PSU stocks, but क्या करें? Let me just give you some prices. Let's look at the PSU section where you have stocks like IFC 7% higher. It pains me to mark these, but nevertheless, it's my job to show where price action is. 43.20 for you, ladies and gentlemen. REC 4.2% higher, 452. Shipping Corporation of India 2.5% higher, 190. National Aluminium 2.5% higher, 130. Steel Authority and NMDC up about 2.5% each. J&K Bank 1.9% higher, 130. There is just no let up as far as the speculative element of the market is concerned. I'll just mark those which are slipping. Cochin Shipyard 4% lower, 814. Union Bank of India 2% lower. Bank of India 2% lower. Masgao and Garden Reach Shipbuilders 2.5%, 1% lower. This is the space, especially in defense, where a lot of fantastic rallies had come in, and this is what it is looking at the moment. You will not believe what HUDCO is doing. It is up 2% at 153, ladies and gentlemen. Like I said, भाव भगवान है, लेकिन हमारा काम मार्क करना है. We will not be taking a technical view on this one. Let's get Vineet into the conversation. Vineet, a decent kind of correction happening in erstwhile market favorites, the defense stocks. What are the pain points that you're looking at there, and any pick that you would want to share with our audience, which you would sort of buy at lower levels or current levels within the defense space?
So, I think the defense space is discounting prices 4 years forward. And that to me is a concern. Whatever metric I use to value these stocks, they seem very, very expensive. And, to be very honest, not participated too much into these stocks. But, I think that they would be there would be a slow drag on these stocks rather than an aggressive fall like what we have seen happening in the other counters that is happening. So I don't think it's too much of a hiding place because of the valuation discomfort. Uh, my I would stick my neck out with pharma and the food and beverages space to play.
Okay. All right. We need
Beverage,
one.
you've made your preference known. Yes, actually, please
But
continue. Continue.
Vineet, Z, like you pointed out, that, at this point in time, it's now surging over 7% higher, 167 right now on Z. Um, let's revisit this stock and, ask you to share your view now. We're looking at this bounce coming in, and we do not know if it is just like short covering, because there is no clear direction which way Z is going to go to and what are the options ahead still. But how would you really look at this bounce of 7%?
see, we've seen very heavy selling take place. 30% fall was not a joke in this counter. And and towards the end of yesterday, the counter had kind of come off the circuits. So I think there's a little bit of profit taking, pullback happening. But I'll still not wager on this, as I told you earlier, that there's too much of corporate governance against a interest in the stock.
Okay. Vineet, any other pocket that you're now turning incrementally bullish on, something that, has not moved in this market, and in this correction you'd now want to accumulate more stocks from?
Paper stocks look very interesting. Uh, uh, they're very, very cheap. Petronet LNG is another stock that I would be looking at. They've done a lot of capex. They've got huge cash in their books. So these are the two spaces which look very attractive.
Okay.
Sakshi, let's do some market spotting. Remember, Hindalco is something that our friend Akshay had marked right in the beginning of the show. It's up 3.5%. If you ignore Z, then Hindalco is the top performer in the FNO space despite the broader weakness. And this is also accompanied by a fairly sharp increase in open interest, which is 3.7% to begin with in the first 10 odd minutes of trade. Let's look at what the volume is on Hindalco when it comes to the cash market. It is in the vicinity of 14 lakh shares, 14.12 lakh shares when it comes to the price, and the stock has corrected from 621 down to 542, and it's a swing trade in the making as far as prices are concerned. Fairly good going when it comes to this kind of a move. And Sakshi, for all the pain that the market underwent yesterday, look at how it is reacting. IRCON International day's low is 215. At the moment, it is at 237. It's higher than yesterday's close. So traders are far more, how should I say, comfortable buying the dip, no matter what the broader Nifty is telling you. And actually, the broader Nifty is at day's high, 17 points higher, 23 points higher, 21 258. Sakshi. There is no let up in speculation. There is no let up in buying.
Absolutely. So we are seeing some green ticks now emerge on the major index, Nifty as well. Of course, a lot of it has to do with the IT heavyweight counters like Infosys that's moving up. And so it's contributing, to the markets. And of course, we have the entire IT pack. The PSU banks, they're coming back again. Some, I think about 0.9% of an uptick can be seen again on these counters after a day's gap. Of the kind of downfall that we saw yesterday. They're back in flavor. Let's look at some of the winners here. Punjab National Bank, 2.5% higher. Bank of Maharashtra, 2.3% up. Punjab and Sindh Bank, 2% higher. Indian Overseas Bank, 2% up. Bank of Baroda, 1.8%. SBI, UCO Bank, Central Bank, by a percent and more. Akshay, your view on these PSU banking names, and would you still go ahead and buy some of these?
PSU banking names were in the limelight, and I believe from the current way the technical structure points out, there might be some bit of pullback, but this is more of a short-term trade if you were considering now, because the markets really are in a very slippery footing, as I understand. So it's more of a trading bet. If you want to take a couple of names which come to my mind, one is Union Bank of India. So really, no disturbing signs in yesterday's fall. It was down, but not significantly, and it's again regaining its lost ground. So 138 is where it trades, and I believe you can have this bank on your buy watch list, because there is a good scope that it will easily overcome 150 plus in the short term scenario. A very strong support base at 135, so keep your stop losses around 132, target 150 plus for Union Bank. And from the futures and options space, Bank of Baroda is one stock which might see some bit of respite buying in the short term trade. It is around the support zone of around 222. Slight bounce back candidate, possibly 229, 230 is where it might head for if the market sustains ahead of the January series expiry. 220 is a support base. So these two other names which you can consider from short term buying.
Okay, two names coming in from the PSU banking basket from Akshay. Akshay, what we'll do is we'll take a very short break, and when we'll return, we'll discuss more stock ideas with you. Stay with us, viewers.
Darwin Platform Group of Companies is one of the fastest growing diversified Indian conglomerates with global footprints. It is setting up offices globally and tying up with companies across the globe for multiple sectors. The company has ventured into real estate and construction, stockbroking and finance, arms and ammunition, mining, airlines, and many other sectors.
In today's rapidly evolving business environment, when risk is omnipresent, managing risks is no longer just about ticking a few boxes. Businesses need to maintain a panoramic view of risks to stay ahead of the curve. Join us to explore how organizations can rethink risk to unlock new possibilities and become fit for future. At PwC presents De-Risking the Future in collaboration with Business Today. Celebrate 32 years of leadership in business news with Business Today. From the groundbreaking AI cover of Sundar Pichai to PM Modi's exclusive on G20, we redefine headlines. Now our 32nd anniversary issue explores India 2029, the 5-year agenda, with industry titans sharing exclusive insights. So, just BT it for unparalleled perspectives. Business Today, 32 years of leadership, innovation, and business brilliance. Subscribe now.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the most effective coverage on Business Today as far as daily trades are concerned. You're joining us at 9:36 on Market Today. Let's now just pay attention to what the Nifty is doing. Remember, the first 15-20 minutes of trade have elapsed. The day's low on the Nifty is somewhere in the vicinity of 21,140 for you, and at the moment the index is exactly 100 points higher than the intraday low, somewhere like 21,250, and is in the green. Now let's look at the market heavyweights. I'd just like to point out some very interesting facts when it comes to how this dip has been observed. So HDFC Bank is now in the green, ladies and gentlemen, 1430, 0.3% higher. Remember, this has been the biggest pain point over the last 5 trading sessions. The day's low was 1380 and it's now at 1431. Remember, this is a 51 rupee uptick on the heaviest weighted stock in the Nifty and the Bank Nifty. We are also headed for the monthly expiry tomorrow, and this is probably intense short build-ups that have happened in FNO as also in cash deliveries. Axis Bank remains under pain. 5% lower, 4.65% lower, 1038. The low was 1020. Now let's look at what is helping the index on its journey towards the green tick. It's Infosys, 1% higher. This has contributed 16 points to the rally. State Bank of India, 1.4% higher, 613, 7 points. Hindalco, we've discussed, up 4%, 7 points to Nifty's gain. L&T, 6 points to Nifty's gain, and surprise, surprise, HDFC Bank, 5 points to Nifty's gain after this very, very sharp recovery, and now in the green. What is in pain? Axis Bank contributing a fall of 33 points to the Nifty, TCS 8 points, Asian Paints in the red 6 points, ICICI Bank 5 points, Hero Motors 3 points. So this is how the structure is, and the underlying tone, Sakshi, is improving because lots of traders have bought this very sharp dip that we have seen. Will you believe it? Railtel is actually up 3.5% on very, very heavy volumes, 400 rupees. IRFC is in the green, 3% higher, 166. The day's low was 151. RVNL, 3.5% higher, 300 for you, and on very, very strong volumes. IRCON, 3.2% higher, 237. So much for trying to warn people and traders that you need to be cautious on the long side. Akshay, your commentary on how traders are reacting to this dip.
Well, see, it's the futures and options expiry on Thursday, and probably this respite buying is because it's a bit of stability, because there will be a lot of options action too ahead of the expiry. A lot of writers are drawing interest, especially the 21,000 strike in puts are now becoming attractive from a writer's perspective, because that's a very important milestone support for the January and also going ahead. So yes, writers are getting back into the game. The India VIX is kind of cooling off, and I believe there might be some stability as far as day trading goes, because whatever major move has to come now, that should be building up for the expiry day. So I see some stability for day trading. Probably the best case scenario can be Nifty bouncing up till around 21,350 to 375 on the upside basis spot, and there again you can see some bit of weakness again creeping into the index.
Okay. You know, the one counter that Akshay I want you to look at is Aditya Birla Fashion Retail. 5.5% high. It's now emerging as the top mover in the F&O space. You know, should you chase this momentum here? What's really the news?
Well, Aditya Birla Finance has been in a
Aditya
range.
Birla Fashion Retail.
Fashion retail, yeah, Aditya Birla Fashion Retail has been in a range. It's been unaffected by what's happening around in the market. If you look at the range since the last 5-6 months, it's been in a range, the base being 210 on the downside, 240 on the upside. Volumes are improving significantly in this range, but really it doesn't build a case for any positional trade. It's about trading the range where you buy the dip, sell on resistance. So yes, buying has emerged from the dips. Easily it can target around 245, 250. So it's more of a trading bet which you can consider. 250 is what you can target. 225 is your base area. So keep support below the stop loss and target around 245.
Okay. Right. And along with Aditya Birla Fashion Retail, there are a lot of other names that are flying away in the broader markets. Infibeam Avenues, 5.2% higher in trade. You have Carborundum Universal, 4% higher in trade. All Cargo Logistics, 3.5% up. Hutco is up, that already mentioned by Shell. BEML, that's now moving up in trade, 3.5% up in trade for this one. Indus Towers after the earnings, 3.5% higher. General Insurance Corporation, 3.5% up. Engineers India is moving higher in trade. These are some of the big movers as far as the Nifty 500 basket is concerned. Anything that strikes you, Akshay, from the names that I mentioned?
A couple of names. One is Indus Tower. So here, this stock has a very strong technical structure. In fact, a very strong base built a couple of months back at 150, and now the stock has launched in a strong uptrend, unaffected by what's happening around in the indices. So yes, it's trying to break out from a consolidation at 225 right now, and easily from a momentum perspective, you can see targets of around 245 to 250 in the short term. So keep a stop loss below 215. This can be one of your buying bets. That's Indus Tower. And the second name which you mentioned was BEML, which
Hmm.
again is very strong technically, and it's again recovering well, trying to regain its lost ground yesterday. I believe the technical structure on the broader charts is still stronger for the stock to make a re-attempt to get past 3300. So consider buying this. Targets 3300 plus. Support area is around 3035. So your stop losses should be around 3020 on this trade.
Okay, let's now look at the Nifty, ladies and gentlemen. It's in the green, 23 points higher, 21 to 62. Remember, is this a dead cat bounce? Is this something related to FNO expiry? Only time will tell. But for the moment, we'll look at where stocks and indices are doing perfectly fine, as if there is no end to the bull market. The Nifty Pharma Index, ladies and gentlemen, is the top performer today, a record high for you, 17,670 as far as the price is concerned. And if you look at the percentage rally, it's in the vicinity of about 0.8%, 17,668 for you as far as prices are concerned. When you dip into the Nifty Pharma Index, you see about 25 stocks, 20 stocks in the green, and the rally is led by Dr. Reddy's. Let's do something out of the ordinary, Sakshi, which is to look at record highs today in this kind of a market. When you look at the Nifty Pharma space, it's Zydus Life, 735 for you. Let's drill a little deeper into the NSE 500. It's Medant, a hospital chain, 1141, 1% higher. Zydus we've discussed, Jyoti Labs, and McDowell, which is United Spirits. This is what the structure is at the moment, and the advanced decline ratio is improving steadily. Let's look at the Nifty 500. Remember, when we had opened the market, we had talked about an advanced decline ratio of 1:1. Actually 243 versus 250. It's improved dramatically. Now 343 shares are in the green and 156 in the red. One stock I'd like to take your view on, Akshay, is RECL. A very, very strong move coming in, about 4% higher. What are the charts telling you when it comes to RECL?
Yeah, RECL, a very strong, healthy chart structure, strong regain, lost ground, almost overcome by or 60, 70 odd percent of yesterday's losses. And I think this is setting up for targets of 500 plus. So yes, from the power finance space, I believe this has an edge over the way the PFC chart is. So I would be more keen on buying REC over PFC, and this has potential to easily cross 500 in the short term space. So consider buying REC, targets 500 plus, support area is around 435, stop losses will be below the support zone for target of 500.
Sakshi, I'll also mark one more stock, South Indian Bank. Just a moment when we discuss this. This is on very, very strong volumes. Of course, a price of 32.95. This is a low beta item. And yes, we are headed towards a record high here. This is the price when you last saw in January of 2018. So definitely a 6-year high. To you, Akshay, South Indian Bank, 32.85, driven by a dramatic change in volume today.
Absolutely, it's a very good pick which you have seen. Well, South Indian Bank almost near its lifetime highs, which we saw way back somewhere in 2017. 33, 34 was where that area was. So yes, I mean, in such a negative market, this stock is an outperformer, a private banking name, which has a very small price in terms of the share price. It's very classical buying pattern which I would foresee in the current space, and this maybe there may be some temporary looking at 33, 34 if you are a trader, but I believe from a slightly medium term to longer term time frame, easily 34 should be overcome, and you should be looking forward to targets of around 45 to 48 on the upside. So yes, from a investment or medium term perspective, consider buying it. As a trader, yes, let this slight zone of all time high 33, 34 be overcome, because that's slightly vulnerable for temporary profit booking.
Okay. Akshay, would you look at the power names, NTPC and Power Grid once again and tell us, if there is fresh momentum to be chased here? These are the stocks that there is no let up in the kind of rally that we've seen thus far, and now they're again ticking higher.
Well, yes, power space again continues to surprise us, and every dip has been bought into one of the strongest space in the last 3 months. And I believe there is still more room to go on the upside. So, absolutely, the couple of stocks which you picked, NTPC and Power Grid, are very strong names. Even in a negative market, this will be your good defensive bets to go forward to. Power Grid 250 plus can be the targets, and NTPC here again another stock with a strong chart structure, easily should be aiming for its recent swing highs of around 325 plus.
And Coal India, that's also ticking higher, 1.2% up, 380 current levels.
Coal India comparatively has a good chart structure, but recently it's been slightly a bit overbought for comfort on the charts. So maybe for short term it's a bit vulnerable to slight profit booking,
Okay.
which might see a dip till 365. So from a risk reward perspective, I would wait for levels of 365 before taking a buy in this company.
Okay. Right. So,
Sakshi, let's look at the broader markets when it comes to sharp moves. Again, the entire EV pack is doing pretty well. Electra Green, 1683. The stock is on a fairly strong footing after 6-7 days of intense pain. What else is moving? I'll just show you HUDCO, I'll just show you IREDA, I'll just show you IRFC. Very strong recoveries from intraday lows, but I'm not taking a technical view from Akshay. These are, fairly difficult days to be a trader, because it will cut you both ways. So unless you are in some kind of a deep pockets of cash, you shouldn't be getting into it. Sakshi, there's really no let up at all. Very strong move coming in, and Nifty is now days high, 63 points higher, 21,300. The bank Nifty, Sakshi, is 222 points higher. It's recovered something like 800 points from its day's low, which was 44,500. So 44,500 and 45,200, yes, 700, 750 points at its day's high, and we were down in the dumps as far as sentiment was concerned early morning and all of yesterday, but there is a sea of green, and a very welcome one at that, Sakshi.
absolutely, Shail, and a lot of pockets now seeing a considerable amount of pick up from the day's low point. Even the broader markets, the small caps and the mid caps, they're now up 1% almost. And this is just about 40 minutes of trade that we have seen in the markets, and there is absolutely no let up, like you clearly mentioned. Let's look at a few gainers from the small cap space. KEI Industries, 4% higher in trade. SJVN, 4.2% uptick in trade. JBM Auto, 4% higher in trade. BLS International Services 4% up. Tejas Networks 3.5% higher in trade. Hutco you've already mentioned. NLC India, that's the one that's ticking higher again. Then you also have stocks like Jyoti Laboratories that's moved up 3.3% higher in sync with the pharma majors. You also have Chambal Fertilizers, that's up by 3.2%. Akshay, anything from these names that you'd like to look positively in the charts?
Yeah. On the charts here, NLC India at 232, strong chart structure. It's been
Okay.
consolidating. It's been in a time correction. 220 is slowly the base which is developing, and I believe from the base, the volumes have been good. Delivery volumes are picking up well, and this stock should re-attempt a high of 260, which is the upper resistance band, and possibly overcome those band in the coming days. So I'll be bullish on the stock at the current rate. 220 is the support, so your stop loss is below support, and target should be around 275. So from this space which you mentioned, NLC India is a good bet. And the second trade here, which I would recommend, is Chambal Fertilizer. It's been a bit battered in the last 3 days, but if you're looking for recovery candidates here, this can be one of the names. Trading recovery can easily see upside till around 375 to 378. 363 is where it trades right now. 350 is the support base. So from a rebound theory, you can consider Chambal Fertilizers from the names you mentioned.
9:54, ladies and gentlemen. We've had half an hour plus 9 minutes, 39 minutes of trade. And so far, on the penultimate day of January's very, very volatile FNO expiry, you have Nifty in the green, up 64 points, 21,300 for you, ladies and gentlemen. Is this a dead cat bounce? Is this short covering based on decent buying? Only time will tell, because time is the ultimate arbiter of what we know as the truth. But for all those who have been advised caution, well, again, caution has been thrown to the winds, and a very, very sharp recovery has been seen in all extremely speculative counters from the PSU banking basket. The fall of yesterday and the weak opening of today morning has been used as an opportunity to buy into it. Sakshi, remember, I had marked IFCI with great regret when it was 7% higher. Well, now it's 14% higher, 45.60. MTNL is 10% higher. IRCON was actually in the red. 215 was the low. It is now 244, ladies and gentlemen, 6% higher. PFS, Power Financial Services, at 51.80, 6% higher. IRFC, the much maligned stock, was a low of 151 in the morning. It's at 171, Sakshi, up 6%. The same story is repeated for RECL, SGVN, SCI, NMDC, GIC Ray, and IGDC. I can go on and on, but that is how it is. There is more faith that the traders have in speculative recovery than what we analysts have in terms of overall market sentiment, Sakshi.
Shail, it's a century on the Nifty also. You have 21,338 on the Nifty, and you know, the markets have bounced back, and bounced back how? We were looking at perhaps the beginning of a deeper correction yesterday, but there is no let-up. People are not letting go of this bull market just as yet. And you can see all those pockets that are buzzing in trade. Remember, we were starting off and we had at least half of the sectors in the red. We only have one sector that's turned flattish with a negative bias. Rest of the sectors are all up into the green. Nifty Auto absolutely flat, but the rest of them, you're seeing gains anywhere between 0.5% to even 2% higher in trade for the sectors like the Nifty Metals and the Nifty Media and the PSU banks that are flying away 1.5% higher in trade. You know, the top movers, Hindalco, IndusInd Bank now coming up smartly from the banking space. SBI coming up very, very smartly from the banking space in trade. You have, of course, the IT majors. Tata Steel ahead of its numbers is 1.3% higher. BPCL from the oil and gas space is again ticking higher in trade. Just last word from you, Akshay, and then we will wind down the edition. 116 points higher for the Nifty, 21,353. What's the way ahead?
As I see, this is more of a dead cat bounce ahead of the expiry. So this can, as I mentioned, at the best go for around 21,375 for day trading basis spots. We're almost there, where it might be again vulnerable to slight slippage. The broader chart structure is suggesting that the level of 20 be tested. Maybe that happens on the expiry day or post expiry, but the weakness is still there. At least to move out of the woods, 21,500 has to be overcome. That will give stability to the market.
So sell on rise is what you're advising at this point?
Exactly. Sell on rise is what I would advise, and that is the way to go. Intraday, yes, you will have bouts of recovery in stocks. There will be strong names which might emerge out. Momentum names would continue to outperform, and that's the way to go. Be stock specific, index based stocks. Let's give it a miss for the time being till stability gets back in the market.
Perfect advice right there. Well, with that, thanks a lot, Akshay, for being with us on this special edition and helping us navigate through this volatility. Shail, let's wind down the markets now. All the sectors are up into the green. A very, very smart move that we are seeing from the lowest point. The Nifty is 135 points and ticking higher, 21,374. We have the Nifty Bank that's at 45,316, 0.6% higher in trade. 300 points uptick now for this one. You also have a lot of stocks that are buzzing in trade from the broader markets. General Insurance Corporation now 5% higher. IRFC, you pointed out, 5% up. Ircon International up in trade. Carborundum Universal up in trade. You have Hindalco that's moving higher very, very strongly, 4.5% up. Bank of Maharashtra up by 4% now. Hutco up by 4%. All Cargo Logistics up by 3.5% in trade. In the F&O space, REC topping the chart, 6.5% higher. Steel Authority 5% up in trade. You have Nalco that's moved up 5%, and Z Entertainment coming back very, very smartly, 5% higher. Hindalco, Aditya Birla Fashion Retail, Power Finance Corporation, Indus Powers. These are the counters that are moving up in the F&O space as well. Let's look at the losers on the Nifty. We just have about 8 losers on the Nifty now. Axis Bank 2.5%, but it's still recovered most of its losses from the opening time. And you have Hero Moto that's down by 1.5%. Asian Paints, Eicher Motors, Maruti. So some paint in the auto space, but rest of the sectors have bounced back pretty sharply, Shail.
Yes, actually, we accept with great humility the learnings that we get from the market. As we had mentioned, that the overall structure of the bull market remains in shape. This could be an intraday correction or maybe a correction that lasts longer. The Nifty is up 150 points, and only time will tell whether this is a dead cat bounce ahead of the F&O expiry, which is tomorrow, or a continuation of the rally which we have seen. Remember, the index had already corrected 1,000 points from its peak of 22,124, and this is where we are. We leave you with good thoughts in terms of how the market opened negatively with a very strong selling pressure on HDFC Bank in particular. That's been absorbed. Sakshi, the only point I'd like to make today is the delivery statistics or the value of trade when it comes to HDFC Bank, 1% higher, 1441, and already 2,200 crores worth of shares have been traded. IRFC, the low was 151, the stock is 170. About 1,700 crores worth of transactions is done. RVNL, 890 crores, the stock in the green, recovering very sharply from its day's low. And Axis Bank, earnings boy, very strong earnings. Markets got disappointed early, but it's now recovering 858 points. Sakshi, in fact, if you look at the top 10 stocks on the NSE 500 in terms of volumes, 8 of them are in the green. Actually, 9 of them are in the green. And that points to how this dip has been purchased. So, भाव भगवान है और जो आपके सामने भाव है उसे सलाम कीजिए और ध्यान रखिए ये डेड कैट बाउंस भी हो सकता है. कल FNO एक्सपायरी है और पिछले एक हफ्ते से बाज़ार की ज़बरदस्त पिटाई हुई है. शायद वो ट्रेड्स स्क्वायर अप हो रहे हों, लेकिन ये सब तभी पता चलेगा जब होगा. साक्षी.
Absolutely. Chaliye, then we will wind up this special edition. Many thanks for being with us through this entire 1.5 hours. But we'll continue to tell you on Business Today television what's moving the market. So stay with us. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. Many thanks.
Darwin Platform Group of Companies is one of the fastest growing diversified Indian conglomerates with global footprints. It is setting up offices globally and tying up with companies across the globe for multiple sectors. The company has ventured into real estate and construction, stockbroking and finance, arms and ammunition, mining, airlines and many other sectors.
In today's rapidly evolving business environment, when risk is omnipresent, managing risks is no longer just about ticking a few boxes. Businesses need to maintain a panoramic view of risks to stay ahead of the curve. Join us to explore how organizations can rethink risk to unlock new possibilities and become fit for future. At PwC presents De-Risking the Future in collaboration with Business Today. Celebrate 32 years of leadership in business news with Business Today. From the groundbreaking AI cover of Sundar Pichai to PM Modi's exclusive on G20, we redefine headlines. Now our 32nd anniversary issue explores India 2029, the 5-year agenda with industry titans sharing exclusive insights. So, just BT it for unparalleled perspectives. Business Today, 32 years of leadership, innovation and business brilliance. Subscribe now.
Wari Renewable Technologies, the solar engineering